Hey everyone, and welcome to the show. Today, I'm excited to have Pierre joining us, Chief Sales Officer at Weglot. Welcome, Pierre. Nice to have you.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
Awesome. Pierre brings a wealth of experience in driving operational excellence and scaling businesses with a strong background in digital strategy and business development. And Weglot as a company is a leading website translation solution that helps businesses expand their reach by making their websites multilingual. And Pierre, I'm thrilled to have you here to discuss our today's topic, European sales excellence and how mid-market leaders can drive sustainable growth. As you probably know, we are all about that B2B and how to drive sustainable growth, and sustainable really underscored. So can you tell us a little bit more maybe in the beginning about the company, about how you maybe entered it, and then we can dive into these juicy questions.
Yeah, sure. So basically, Weglot is a translation enabler. So what we do is we translate every content that is on the internet, everything that starts with HTTP. We can translate it, no matter what the CMS or whatever. And everything is super smooth, SEO oriented. It's a hell of a product. I mean, it works very, very well. And so I'm in charge of the sales team. So I'm handling the AEs, AM, CSMs, and solution engineer. And voila, that's what we do.
Absolutely great. What I really love what you said there, because there's obviously so many translation softwares out there, but it's very important, like these kind of details that differentiate you from the competitors. And that kind of leads me to the first question, like, what unique challenges and opportunities do you think you have as a market advantage, but also what are these challenges on the European market concretely for a company such as yours?
Yeah, so we've got several advantages indeed. So the first one is the product itself. Our product is, honestly, it's excellent. It's I joined the team recently, but I'm blown away by the product. It works very well with every content that is on the internet. Like it was a product-led growth. So I mean, during years there was no sales team, and I mean it wasn't needed. It was created 4 years ago by the person that was there before me. The results are absolutely excellent. So the product itself is an advantage in itself. And yeah, whenever we pitch it to the customers, most of the time they are very surprised and amazed by this. So that's the biggest advantage and leverage we have. On the challenges we have on the European markets, there are a lot of challenges. Like the European market is broad but tiny as well. So there are a lot of languages, culture, regulatory quirks, localized compliance requirements, and a lot of consumers' behavior. Our advantage as well is our knowledge, our know-how to address all these needs as well. So the product itself is an advantage. We've got as well a very strong and deep understanding of the different cultures and needs from the different markets and the regulatory constraints that exist in Europe, and there are quite a few. So that is as well some strengths we have.
And how do your sales strategy adapt to these changes? Can you give us like an example of like maybe one of the regulatories that are in place, and are you adapting your sales process to those?
Yeah. So we've got some salespeople that are based in France, and we've got some partners, some agencies with whom we work in different markets. So yeah, for example, in Germany, the Netherlands, etc. So we're working with some local people, agencies that know better than us what are the regulatory constraints, whatever needs to be done, the culture, the way people behave, the way consumer actually purchase these kinds of tools. So we work very closely with these agencies as well. So we've got some experts in-house, and we've got some experts out of the house. And so we work together. And at the end of the day, the results are absolutely excellent. So we've developed some very strong knowledge about the different regulatory constraints of Europe. And as said, yeah, there are quite a few. And for any consumer, any company that would like to tackle the European market, we're the reference translation enabler, because we know everything that needs to be done.
Awesome. And you mentioned that you built that sales team essentially from scratch, and you're obviously focusing on having the high performance. So how do you interact maybe these learnings from different markets or with these agencies that you're working with to kind of introduce those into the knowledge that your team possesses, and what kind of high performance does it bring? Like, what is your strategy in kind of putting it all together?
Yeah, so the team was created by the person that was there before me for most of the team, and I've recruited a few people since I joined, and some more people are joining in the coming weeks and months. The thing is, I mean, yeah, whenever you want to build up a very high performing team, I mean, it's no secret, but I mean, first the right mindset. The people that join us and the people that work in the team do have a fantastic mindset. They want to go above and beyond. The sense of ownership. We've got very strong values within the team, and we've defined it all together. So basically, we have humbleness, ethical selling. Like we don't want to sell for selling. We really want ethical selling as well, and we abide by that. We stick to our values, and everybody represents one value. We've got growth mindsets, going the extra mile, ownership. All these values that we define all together, all the ones that define us as a team, and whomever is joining the team needs to check these boxes to feel these values. And that's exactly the way we recruit people. So the right mindset, I think, is the biggest one, the first one. After that, I mean, the right communication and transparency. I'm a big believer of very strong transparency and empowerment of the people. I try to be as transparent as I can in whatever decision we make. I all the time communicate about what we do, why we do things, and I ask the team as well for their advices, like support or in the decision-making process. So the right communication flow, I think, is absolutely essential into building the high-performing sales team. And after, I mean, again, no secret, but the right tools, the right process, the right method. So if you don't have like very strong process, I mean, it's a suicide move. So having the right process and the right tools as well, making sure that indeed whatever is done properly, following some rules that enable to have clarity. Because whenever anything is not like clear enough, there is some friction. And even in super high performing teams, I mean, if it works very well for a while and after like the market starts to be a bit more complicated, like all these friction become completely toxic. And that's exactly what process tools and methods enable to avoid. And I mean, last but not least, like the understanding of the different markets as well. Like every person has some strong knowledge about their own market, and there is a lot of knowledge sharing between the people from the same team.
I really like how you position that knowledge of the market, like literally being the last of the qualities, because I'm pretty much meeting that myself everywhere that I go, that it's more about who the person actually is, what are their values, and how the communication goes. Because as you said, when the times are tough, the best sales teams still like bring the biggest growth to the companies if you can capitalize on that. So actually having like a very strong mindset and very strong values in the team helps you, because you can always teach the hard skills, but the soft skills and the mindset, you can't really teach that to someone that doesn't want to. So I really like that approach, and that you actually are positioning that knowledge last. So moving forward, like how does Weglot leverage its partnerships and integrations to drive like sustainable growth in the European market with possible partners and again, like the partnerships that you have across the European Union?
Yeah, so indeed, partnerships and integration are really at the core of our growth strategy. So we've built very strong alliances with some very key players in the digital ecosystem. So like CMS platforms, for example, e-commerce solutions, digital resellers, agencies. That's not always in my team. A part of it is in the marketing team, and they are doing like phenomenal work. And that's how we do. Since we are a healthy partner, I mean, we stick to what we know, and we provide value, and we get the value from these people. It's always a win-win partnership, and so it's like these partnerships and integration are very well structured, and it's a really good win-win for every actor in the ecosystem. So at the end of the day, these relationships they extend our market reach, but they bring as well reassurance to our customers. Like for example, whenever we're working with a provider, like I don't know, CMS platform, and they start to recommend us to their customers, I mean, it's a sign of reassurance for them, for the final user, because we are recommended by the CMS platform they're using, and they start using our products. So I mean, we've got we need to ensure that we never fail this trust. We need to ensure that indeed, if we are recommended, we need to be at the top level for the final user, and that's what we do at the end. So in a nutshell, it's very important for us, and we always keep the highest level of quality for the customers to make sure that we never fail our word.
I like how you mentioned that you're very grateful to the marketing and the work that they're doing. So give me a little bit of insight, like how do you complement each other with marketing? What is the kind of maybe efforts that you see panning out, and maybe how one of the best partnerships even did happen, right?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's first, Weglot is working like 100% on inbound now. We don't do outbound. We start to do outbound again. It's been tried like a bit in the past, but it's been stopped for some reason. And now we're working 100% on inbound. And still, we keep growing and growing and growing because, yeah, marketing is doing phenomenal work. Like, it's really mind-blowing. Please don't reach out to them because they're ours. I want to keep working with these people because, but the thing is, inbound has historically been key, and it still is. So the first thing is that we communicate very well together. We communicate extremely well. The synergies between marketing and sales are working very, very well. And we always align. Of course, sometimes there are some questions about who's doing what and who's supposed to take over like a specific deal. Like, is it an agency? Is it a reseller? Is it a customer that is for sales, for marketing? Like these, but there is never any friction. It's just discussion. And at the end of the day, we all move in the same direction. So I would say like the key to make it work is indeed communication, transparency. And again, I mean, same mindsets. The people from the marketing team, they do have the same mindset as well. And everybody's shooting in the same direction. So that's what helps a lot. And yeah, some example of partnership that works very well. Sometimes, marketing is working on some CMS integration, doing very, very well. And whenever there is a customer that is big enough for the sales to take over, that's when the handover happens. And so we all the time work together and align on what is good for Wiglot, what is good for the partner, and what is good for the final user. Once we've got this mix and we try to maximize the value for everyone, we just come up with a strategy. And honestly, it makes sense all the time, and it wins. And we've got a very good conversion rate whenever we work together.
So you pretty much, from what I understood, use the marketing to get people inside a funnel, maybe top of the funnel. And then when you see that there's like an opportunity to build that relationship and take it to the next level, maybe in the middle of the funnel, you introduce your sales team and kind of take over while still using the assets that marketing is providing.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes they help us as well to make some ads as well to the companies that we would like to discuss with. And so, yeah, they focus a bit more on these companies and share some content. And yeah, after a little while, we managed to get some contacts with them. So exactly.
Awesome. It's very interesting. You mentioned that you're working almost exclusively or right now exclusively on inbound. And you also mentioned right now some ads. What strategies have been the most effective in acquiring new clients for you at the moment?
So the thing is, it's been historically like a product-led growth. So the product itself works very well and it attracts a lot of people. We've got very good SEO results as well. Again, good work from the marketing team. So inbound has been historically super high for us because that was what was working the best. Communicating a lot of information about how to make sure that your website translation project works very well. And so communicating, having some white paper, some SEO-oriented content, blog content as well, worked very well. Indeed, we start to communicate a bit more and make some more ads. We're still trying our way. So we're trying, failing, testing again, investing a bit money and starting to succeed. So inbound is super strong and that's what works the best. And SEO works very well. People reaching out to us. The second part is expansion as well. We've got a lot of customers. We've got very extensive. I think we are translating 110,000 websites in the world. So nice. We've got a lot of customers. And so for these customers, sometimes we just can identify some opportunity of growth, expansion with them. So what we can do is just, look, you're currently translating one website from your company. We see that you've got 10. Maybe we can just work with you on the conversion for the other ones. Or you're only translating like 10 pages of your website. Maybe we can just discuss on what would be the impact if we translate all of them. So we've got very strong tools that enable us as well to have a forecast of the impact on the SEO for any website. So basically, if you got a website that is only in English, you want and you're thinking about, okay, what language should I translate it into and what would be the impact? We've got some tools to help you with that. And once we sign up with a client that is enterprise, we've got quarterly business reviews as well. And for this, we prepare that as well with marketing. And we basically provide all the content, like the impact on the SEO, the impact on the traffic, etc., and the conversion rate as well. So we try to go as far as we can to support our customers. And for this, it's it's a back and forth with whatever we can get from marketing and whatever we've got from sales.
Amazing. I really, really love, because again, this is, in my opinion, something that many people forget about somehow, because the sales doesn't necessarily end when you acquire the customer. It's that ongoing relationship and actually having their best interest in your heart to really see like, okay, there's an opening. We can actually help you with these other websites, with these other markets, or with this expansion, and even have the tools, which is another great move to actually predict the ROI. Because I mean, the offer is just as good as the numbers are and the justification of the actual price, right? So I really, now I can see like why you're so successful with that, because the strategies are absolutely brilliant in my opinion on that.
Thank
So
you.
when it comes to how do you are approaching like the balance between maintaining the existing customer base and pursuing new opportunities, because of course you have of course some limitations, and you can be expanding on maybe looking at what your customers might be missing or what they need, and then kind of looking at, yeah, should we start the outbound, or should we really just keeping on like what are the decision making process on there? How do you calculate where's the best opportunity?
Yeah. So yeah, that's a very good question. We are a very pragmatic company. So I mean, we both co-founders are extremely they like to try, they like to fail, to try again, and to be really like a pragmatic. And that's something that is, you can see like is cascaded in the entire company. So we try a lot, and that's the idea. Before we automatize anything, before we invest some money, we try. And once we identify an opportunity, we invest time and effort in it. So there are a lot of ways to try for like low cost or low energy, low investment. We leverage AI a lot as well to try with less effort. And I mean, that's the mindset. So for example, how should we invest our time and effort between expansion and a new business? Basically, well, we structure things, and in order to try the Pareto rule. So we try to obtain 80% of value doing 20% of the task. So we try to identify what would be the ideal approach. We identify what are the 20% more worthy actions to do. And we try this, and after, if it doesn't work, we try other things. So that works for expansion and for new business. Since we've got two separated teams, these are things that we can try on the parallel streams. We've got as well some partnership team as well. So we've got the ability to try a lot of things at the same time. But it should not be like the majority of the bandwidth of these people, because they've got some objectives, some very strong objectives to tackle and to reach. So at the end of the day, it's more like I, as a manager, I'm there to enable these people to try what they have in mind. So we discuss about what's the best approach to do that. I try to find a way to automatize it, to make this as simple as possible. They do that, and after we analyze together and say, okay, well, we can see that there's an opportunity in here. Let's invest a bit more time, a bit more effort. And again, we synchronize as well with the marketing in order to maximize the value, because we've got the sales vision of it, but when you combine it with the marketing vision, like it's mind blowing sometimes. So I mean, we learn a lot from these guys, and I believe they learn a bit as well from us. So that's how we do. We try, and after whenever we see a positive signal, we invest more.
Very nice, very nice. And I'd be interested in learning what you mentioned, like positive signals. Like there's so much you can explore, and there's no clear kind of boundaries to how much you need to test to understand the opportunity, and maybe not pass on it too early or spend too much time on it. So how do you kind of navigate not spending the adequate amount of time on trying something out?
Yeah, so we've listed a lot of signals. Like, we made a very, very long and as exhaustive as possible list of signals. We've leveraged as well, like ChatGPT, for example, on this one, and using some prompt generators. We've got like a list of, let's say, 100 signals, and after we try to work on it and give some sense and say, okay, well, this one, that's the weight that I believe is correspond to that signal. At the end of the day, we just choose maybe 3 or 4, and we say, okay, well, this one, we're going to try them out. If we manage to combine these 3 or 4, what is the impact? And so after, I'm a heavily data-oriented guy. So, I mean, I need to check like what is the, we define at the beginning of this, let's say, campaign, what are the success metrics? So we say, okay, what would success look like in a month, in 3 months, in 6 months? And so we try, we launch, and after we analyze. And if it doesn't work after 2, 3, 4 weeks, well, we just change and we try something else. I mean, that's the beauty of it. I mean, we translate websites, and there are billions of websites in the world. So, I mean, we've got at Wiglot the ability to fail. I mean, that's something that is a bit taboo in France to fail, but I mean, that's the right mindset to have. Like, let's fail all together. Let's try. If we don't fail enough, that means that we didn't try enough. So that's what we do basically. And so we try, and if we see like that there's no positive reaction, no positive answer to that, well, we stop. We cut it off after a few weeks. Generally, it's it's a matter of sense as well. If we don't feel that it's working properly, or if we feel that there's been some, let's say, email opened, but no answer to that. So maybe the content is not good. If the emails were not even open, maybe it's just the title, the object of the email that's not good. Well, we try to adapt to whatever friction we can identify, and at the end of the day, we find ways.
Yeah, you're always failing forward. You're just always exploring, and that's what I would say one of the keys to growth as well. Because unless you try, you never know what might be skyrocketing, and putting yourself in that position to be able to fail, it just eventually means that you find something that's working, and most probably your competitors that are a bit more stagnant and not so bold might be left behind. Whatever interesting to kind of close this up with is, of course, you're moving in the website space altogether, not just within the translation space. There's been of course, the Web3 and everything. Like, what do you see as a future of website translation, but also future of the websites? Like, how do you maybe research the upcoming trends, and how are you maybe optimizing your product to really stay trendy and valid?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Actually, when I joined Wiglot, I was asked by some friends, look, but I mean, AI is going to kill that kind of company. But that's the exact opposite, to be honest. That's the thing. AI is a fantastic help, is a fantastic opportunity for us. We're developing a lot of AI-based feature, and it's working very well as well. But translating websites is not only sending the link to ChatGPT and it does everything. I mean, translating a website is most of the time there are a lot of project management, C-oriented approach. You need to check everything remains very tricky, and there's a lot of back and forth as well with translation agencies. So what we do is we smooth up this entire process. AI is fantastic. We leverage it a lot. We use the best LLMs on the market as well to improve our product, and that's how we remain one of the best, if not the best, sector of translation in the world. But that's, to us, it's more an opportunity than a threat. And I mean, let's be honest as well. Website translation is a must if you're serious about going international. If you don't translate your website, I mean, it's extremely complicated, if not impossible. I mean, for example, I take the example of France, since I am a French. A lot of people in France do not speak a very good English. So this is a blocker that we see with a lot of our customers. If their website is only in English, they will just not check it. Even if, I mean, I speak English, I believe good enough, but if a website is in French, I think there is a higher chance for me to convert rather than if it's only in English. So translating a website is a must. Having the highest quality of translation is what AI enables us to do. But that's where the positioning of Wiglot is brilliant, because it's just a brick in the middle. It's the translation enabler. We don't translate it ourselves. We just connect to the best translators. So we make translation look simple and super smooth. And that's what our prospect struggle the most with. So all this consuming back and forth project management and a translation process, I mean, it can be very huge in some companies we're discussing with.
And again, to your point, I think that making it so personal for the person that actually comes to the website, right? They can probably even use Google Translate to translate it, but it's never something like feeling that the brand cares about them enough to actually translate, right? So it kind of adds up to it, and really just, as you said, removing everything from the process. So it seems like it's an easy task, just like one click, but you're doing all the hard work. It's what people pay for because they want to save time.
Exactly.
What about...
If I may add as well, if I may add as well, you're completely right. I mean, having the website translated with Google Translate is a thing, but if you want to have your pages duplicated and SEO oriented, that's a very important topic. For example, the Wiglot website, our own website, we've translated it into a lot of languages, and some of these languages are not accessible on our own website, because the reason we did that, and that was an idea from the marketing, is that we wanted these pages to be duplicated and exist, and so being crawled by Google. And so we are ranked on some Google on some Google search in some countries on languages we don't speak. It's just like, what we do is we duplicate all the content. We not duplicate the content, we duplicate the pages. So, we create subdomains or subdirectories. So basically, if you got your website like a wiglot.com, we create fr.wiglot.com or wiglot.com/fr/es/ etc. we create everything like in just one click. And that's the heavy burden that you need to do if you do it yourself. And so we do that for you, and just adding some new languages make you just exist in the Google search for this country. So, I mean, we receive a significant amount of requests from some countries like Korea, Japan, etc. And well, we don't speak these languages. I mean, our tool does. So at the end of the day, we can serve these customers.
Amazing, amazing. And that leads me, like, I promise, the last question. But I'm very interested in, like, have you ever met a customer or a potential lead that was more so on a verge of like not having a traditional website, but like a Web3 website or something like more innovative? Have you maybe ever worked with like some application or kind of seeing a trend and maybe there are some more advanced technologies used for new websites that you need to also kind of innovate to be able to help them?
The thing is, the way Wiglots is structured is that we capture the content, we translate it on the fly, and we just push it back. And we create the new pages whenever it's requested. So, for example, basically, you come to a website, you click French, and if these pages don't exist, we create it on the fly, and we just push the contents at these moments. So basically, no matter the technology of the customer, no matter the CMS or the Web3 approach that these customers can have, at the end of the day, for us, it's just taking content, translating it, and pushing it back. That's the reason. That's the same thing. It really works for any website in the world, and so that's one of our very big strengths. So we never had any. Well, sometimes we've got some technical challenges, and we need to make it work for our customers. But at the end of the day, there's always some solutions that are found. And I mean, we've got very good solution engineer as well. Like there is one guy who just finds out solution for absolutely every problem. So yeah, that's the way we do.
Amazing. So you pretty much don't have a reason to be afraid for any changes. Really, it's just going to be, unless there's a new solution rather than a website which for even at that point you can kind of create a different type of translation or different kind of service, but still doing the same. Pretty much, unless we're all speaking one language, you're still relevant.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely love it. So, yeah, thank you very much for your time, Pierre. This was definitely educative, and I've learned myself a lot. So appreciate your time, and hopefully Weglot keeps growing, and we can meet in a couple months, maybe a couple years time, to see your next progress.
With pleasure.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much as well. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a nice one.